Hey guys, today I'm going to review the Rose Technics Aurora Ultra on my left side and the Rose Technics Distant Mountain. They're also known as Rose Celsa Aurora Ultra or Rose Celsa Distant Mountain. So it depends as to what you call them. But yeah, a big thanks to Ho-Kago for sending in this review unit. But all the thoughts and opinions you're about to hear are my own. So I'll just quickly talk about the pricing. So the Aurora Ultra is $44 and the Distant Mountain is $69. That's the pricing. First, I'll start with the Aurora Ultra. So what do you get inside the box? Well, let's talk about the box, what you see. So these have a planar driver and a dynamic driver. The price is $44, by the way. And also these have a 5N OCC wire copper. And you also get this set of tips, which is the sound con tips, a liquid silicone tip. And also you get a dongle inside the box, which they don't talk about it. So yeah, so this is what you get inside the box. You get this fantastic case, which is really awesome. It's quite big to keep two IEMs and even a small dongle deck. So this is really nice. It's magnetized. I really like it. And then you get this one set of tips. And then you get these two, which is the liquid silicone ear tips, which in itself is around $16. So that's a nice value. And this dongle deck, which is $13. So the silicone tips and the dongle deck itself is around $29 of value on a $44 IEM. And this is the IEM which you get. So the IEM is really small. Let me show you. IEM is really small. It has this metal finish and the inside is plastic. And the fit is in such a way so that it goes deep inside your ear canal. So the IEM is really small. They're really comfortable to wear. The cable is not that good, but I don't expect much at this price. But yeah, the cable is, although they look sturdy, it's made out of nylon, as you can see. Yeah. So it gets a bit tangled up. They are really comfortable to wear. I have had no issues wearing them for a long time. They sit deep inside and they isolate very well if you find a right fit. So let's talk about the sound of the Aurora Ultra. This is the graph of the Aurora Ultra, as you can see. Yeah. So it basically follows a Harman target, but there is a bass and a mid bass boost, and you get this big boost in the upper mids and the treble. So the sub bass region is actually very harmonish. It's good. It has a good amount of punch and tactility, and it goes very well with the mid bass too. But when you're in the mid bass region, there is a slight bloatiness, or the tactilityness which you find in the sub bass is not that present in the mid bass region. But it is quite good if you especially listen to genres like rap and hip hop. So yeah, it depends. It's not the best mid bass out there, but it does its job well. Now coming to the male vocals, it's okay. It sits behind the mix a lot. So some vocals might be taking a bit step back in the mix, but the female vocals is where it shines. Now by shining I mean it has a very good clarity and the tonality of the female vocals. But that could also be an issue for some, because if you crank this at higher volumes and you are someone who is sensitive to this region, then you might have some issues wherein you can find it to be a bit shrilly or shouty. Now, the treble region, in my opinion, is done fantastically well. I really like it, but it's a bit weird. Why do I say it's weird? Well, the treble is really good. It is a bit of a dark treble, but I like it. But and the air of the treble region is quite good. But as you can see, this 10K peak, right? The 10K peak is a bit of an issue. Whenever I'm listening to something, there is this weird shrilliness which comes on the treble, and it's really quite pokey to my ear. So I don't know if you might face it, but I have that problem because I don't really like that peak on the 10K region, 5K or the 8K region. So if there are some peaks like that, it causes this weird shrilliness of the treble. So when I'm listening to anything instrumental, let's say Cassiopeia 85 live album, it's recorded very well for a live album. So I always do that test. And yeah, whenever I listen to that, there is always this claps and it doesn't sound that natural. Although the treble is dark, there is this big 10K peak which causes some issue. So yeah, that's the issue with the Aurora Ultra when it comes to treble region. The soundstage again, although it's a bit dark, the treble is a bit dark, is fantastic actually for the price. It has very good depth, it has good width, and I was surprised as to how good the soundstage of the Aurora Ultra is. The imaging too is apt for the price, so you get decent left to right transition and right to left transition. So yeah, that's my review for the Aurora Ultra. I think so it's a good IEM if you like female vocals like me, but do not push it much higher, like towards like medium to high volumes, because the 10K peak which I spoke about might cause some issues. So for me it did, and although the treble is done really nicely, the 10K peak is a bit iffy over here. I wish there was some way to fix that. Like, if you could EQ it, then I think so this will sound really good for that price. So that's my review of the Aurora Ultra. Now I'll talk about the Distant Mountain. So the Distant Mountain is basically a headphone, an on-ear headphone from Rose Techniques or Rose Salsa. It has this fantastic brushed the metal look, which I really like. So if you're in the hobby, you might know about the older days Sony Walkman kind of headphones or the Cos Porta Pros headphones. These look really good, and I love the look of it. This is a lambskin leather apparently, so yeah, it's quite cushy for the thin headband, and this is the full padded foam which I'm using over here. Inside the box, you also get this donut shifter foams, which I do not use, and I'll say why I do not use it. Then you get the cable and also a dongle jack, similar to the Rose Techniques Aurora Ultra, inside the box with the Distant Mountain. And you get this cute character, waifu or oyome as they call it in Japanese. So yeah, so the packaging is really good for its $70 price. Now let's talk about the sound. Well, when you take them out of the box, you get this pad installed. But inside the box, you also have this donut pad. I did not like this because if I use this donut pad, what happens is there's this weird peak in the treble. I think so it's around 6, 7, 8K. And also the upper mids. They sound too shouty in my opinion with these. So that's why I use this. I really like this. The sound signature which comes off this. Now when you're wearing this in stock mode, the sound signature you get is a mild U shape with a bit of a boost in the bass and a bit of a boost in the upper mids area. Now the sub bass region is actually surprisingly decently done, because if you do not know that in the on-ear headphones they are not really that good, but for the Distant Mountain they are actually quite nicely done, and the tactility of the sub bass and the rumbliness of the sub bass is there. The mid bass is a bit lacking over here, so when I'm listening to Bjork's Hollow 16-bit remix, the mid bass lacks. And so yeah, it is not that good of a mid bass, but the sub bass is really good. The male vocals again are done quite well. I was surprised. The texture of the male vocals is quite decent, and female vocals, in my opinion, is where it shines. When I'm listening to my J-pop playlist, I think so. This sounds really well, and also the treble is decently done. There are no issues in the treble. There are no like weird peaks in the treble, except that 10K peak or 8K peak, which I spoke about for this. Other than that, the treble is really nicely done. Now, what I would suggest is if you're using this, try to use something kind of a warmer sounding DAC. For example, I was using it with the Hibi FC6, the Fio K11, and the i5 Go Blue. They sounded really good with this. I think so. They pair really well. If you use very neutral, or let's say even the supplied dongle DAC, I don't think so. They sound that good. I think so. The tad bit of warmness does help a bit for this. So yeah. And also, if you like to EQ, you can EQ them to sound like really good. Like the treble 10K or the 8K region where there is a peak. If you just bring it down a bit, I think so these are really fantastic for daily casual use. And also they're quite cool looking, isn't it? I really like the way they look. And this is completely metal, by the way. Yeah. So if Rose Techniques can make a wireless version of this, I think so it will be a hit, because the cool look which you get, the cool retro look with the wireless version, it could compete with the Cos Porta Pros in my opinion. So yeah, that's my review of the Aurora Ultra and the Distant Mountain. If you have any questions, please do ask below and I'll try to help you out. Like and subscribe, as that really helps me out a lot. 94% of the people watching this video aren't subscribed, so I would really appreciate if you could just subscribe. It helps me a lot and it's free of charge. I hope you have a great day ahead. Bye.